So for this one, this is a switch statement here that just does what it has to do. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of value, such as this. Each value is called a case. For this case, if this case is true, then this is what should be executed, and the variable being switched on is checked in every each cases. The variable in which we are going to switch is checked in every each cases. For this case, that is var of score. If score is greater than or equal to 80, they should set grade to A. According to the documentation, this is the way a switch statement is written. This is the way a switch statement is written. This is a switch keyword. Then I have my variable name which I'm going to be checking on, which is grade. So it's going to switch the value for grade. Now for each case, it says if case A, that means if grade here is equal to A, then this is what should happen. This is the block of code to be executed, whereas what I just did here is just to store a string to this comment variable. So I go back up here just for us to see what we have from the beginning. I have my package main, import statement, and my function main. So for I have my variable which is grade score, whereas I set my grade to be A. These are multi-variable on a single line of different types, so I don't have to include any type here like int. This variable will just take their value type from the value being assigned to them. So grade is a string which is holding A, while score is a number, an integer, which is holding 55. So I also have my comment, which is a string here. So let's look at this statement, a switch statement. It says case score, which is greater than or equal to 18. Switch, what am I trying to switch? For the first case, I try to check this score. If score, which is 55 here, if score is greater than or equal to 80, then it should update my grade variable to be A. My grade variable to be A. That means if the score of the user is greater than or equal to 80, that is 80 upward, then it should change the grade to A. Yes, according to our calculations for examinations, we have we check for grades through the score of each student. So if the person score 80 and above, then the person's grade is A. Whereas for this other case, it says if score is greater than or equal to 70, then grade should be B. Yes, why I use greater than or equal to 80 here is that 18 and above. So it will first check for this. If this is false, then it move to the next one, which is if it is greater than 70. If I should scatter the order of this, like 70 up and the 80 down, it won't get a chance to execute the code for 80. Why? Because it is the first statement has already taken a space, whereas if the value being passed by the user is let's say something like 85, if this first statement is there as 70, then what to check is that is score greater than 70, which is always true, then it will exist this, but that is not what I want here. So that is why I use the initial value of 80. I start with the biggest one. So I move down. I have for all my cases here, which are if score is greater than or equal to 70, it should set grade to B. If score is greater than or equal to 50, then grade should be C. But if score is greater than or equal to 40, then grade should be set to D. Default, that is that 40, that's 39 and below, it should be what? E. That is my default statement. So for a switch statement, we have case, one or more cases to be checked. Then this default is optional, it depends, just to avoid your code breaking. So this one only updates the value of grade here. What if I want to switch something also, that if a case case A, that is I already update the value of grade here. Update the value of grade. So I'm not checking if grade is equal to A. That is, if grade, I'm switching for grade. If the value for grade is A, then you should set comment variable to excellent. This is just comment that will be written here. Then if the grade is B, set very good to comment. If for this case, if the variable being updated here is C, then you should set good to comment, and D, and so on. That's how the code will continue to check. So if the user score is let's say something like 60 fall in between greater than or equal to 50, which is C. So if the person's grade is C, it's come here. If the grade is C, then what it will print out is good. Whereas if it is D, what it will print out is passed, and E, it says failed, you can do better. So the default says invalid grade. This one is just to avoid breaking of this. At least you should print out something. So if the person grade is not in between A to E, then it will print out invalid grade. So my print function here just says, okay, your grade is, it will print out the score and the grade the person got. Your grade is, then the score, let's say for instance, according to what I have at the top there, is 55. So your grade is 55, which is the score, and it will print out the grade, which is which falls under C. Then the comment followed by if grade is C is what? Good. So now let's try to execute this program. And how do I do that? I first check if I'm in the right directory. So ls to list my file. Then the directory I'm working on is decision making. Yeah, so I change my directory to decision making. Then I'm in decision making. I can list all the files I have there. Okay, so the one I want to run is switch.go. I use go run switch.go. So I execute this and let me see the output of my program here. It says your grade is 55, which is C. This is the score. It prints out the score first, 55, which is C. Then the comment that is being updated here, if grade is C, then the comment will be what? Good. So it's print out good. Let us try to manipulate something here. Let me first clear my screen and I go back to the top here just to update something, update a variable. Instead of setting the variable score to let's say, let me set it to 80, and let's say the output for that, I come here, I re-execute this, go run switch.go. Let's see what it will print out this time. It says your grade is 80, which is A. Excellent. So that is about switch statement in Go programming. Yeah, so that is about switch statement. Remember, the structure of a switch statement is a switch keyword, then the variable to be checked on. So this case will be okay if the grade is this value. If grade is A, then what should happen? What should happen is to set to update the comment variable and set it to something, give it some value, which is excellent. And that is about switch. And you can also check for this if grade is equal to A, equal to, whereas I can also check for other equality sign. According to the definition, it says a switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. So this is also an equality operation. So this is greater than or equal to. So I just test using this to check for the value of the value that I'll be having. If score is greater than or equal to 50, then grade should be C. So that's how that is going to work. So let us rerun this and see what it prints out this time. It says your grade is A. Excellent. So that is about that. Okay, let me check for more value. Let me set this to be 60 and let's see what that will bring here. So, and it says it should bring your grade is C. and print out good, because this one is greater than or equal to 50 here, and the